Hey, Planeswalkers, Mythras here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. Today, I got a fun top deck for you. Before we go ahead, though, and check out the deck tech, play some best of one, best of three competitive matches, a little bit of history on this deck. It used to be very, very popular pre-Zendikar Rising. You guys can absolutely go check out some of my older tier lists because that's what they're for, to get a better understanding of what that meta was, why this deck was extremely popular. And I'm very, very happy to be circling back on this because it has been a while. I think it's been over a month since we've covered this archetype in particular. So very, very excited to share it with you. But before we go ahead and jump into this deck today, I just want to say thank you. As always, I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch to stay up to date on content like this. And then also don't forget, you guys can stay in touch with my Mythic journey down below with my Untapped profile. And additionally, I've included obviously I use Untapped. I've included the link there for you as well if you want to start and share your own journey as well. So always think it's fun to kind of do those things. So let's go ahead and check out the deck that I'm talking about here, because now you guys, if you haven't figured it out already, but you know because of the title anyway, but what we're playing, we are playing a Sultai Midrange deck. So I'm very excited about this. So that nod to the old tier list, that kind of a thing. Sultai was once the tier 1 deck. It was the deck to beat. This particular one's a mid-range. Sultai Control, Sultai X, you name it, kind of the joke, running joke. Pre-Zendikar Rising was the deck. So just a little bit of context there for you, either new or obviously a reoccurring player. Along those lines as well, it is called a Sultai mid-range deck in the naming convention. So what that means is it is both Sultai, which is the color schema, which is black, blue, and green, or swamp, islands, and forests, to give us the Sultai makeup there. And then additionally, it's a mid-range deck. So mid-range decks really focus in the middle of the pack here. As you can see, generally you have some pretty good strength on the board in that middle of the cycle. As you can see, we have a few of those things there. And then additionally, again, that 4-5 slot's very powerful, but then you also got a couple of closers and finishers towards the higher end of your curve there as well. So without spoiling too much of that, obviously the objective of the deck is to maintain early game, really capitalize mid game, but then still have some outs in terms of the late game. So the goal is to the game's not going to go quick. It's not going to go terribly long, but really focus on controlling turn 4-5 kind of a deal, and then starting to get the beat down in. Now, with that said, Planeswalkers, this list is available for you down below in the description, so you have access to it right away. If you do have questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. And now I've also added a way to stay in touch with the Discord channel. So feel free to check that out as well if you'd like. Now, here we go. Let's go ahead and walk through the list. We'll talk about the main board, we'll talk about the sideboard, and then we'll talk about how to sideboard, and then we'll go play some competitive Magic here. So this is what we got going on. I'm going to highlight everything really quickly, and then we'll come back to it just to kind of give you a general idea of what's going on, and then really, really focus and hone in on the list here. So first off, my friends, we got Bloodchief's Thirst. This card's very, very powerful. Obviously, it's at sorcery, and it stays at sorcery speed, but for a 1-drop, we have a destroy target creature or planeswalker with convert mana cost 2 or less, and then if we kick it for 4, we can destroy either a creature or a planeswalker. But again, that trade-off for us is that sorcery speed ability, and this is a Zendikar Rising card. Now, here is our first modal land. This one's very important. Jawari Disruption is a great, great card to kind of screw up the flow of our opponents, and it's a nice slip, but they can still get out of the slip for 1. So if you play your cards right, this is going to be very powerful. Otherwise, at the same time, we do have access to a land through Jawari's Runes here, where it can come in tapped. So that is a big thing from Zendikar Rising to pay attention to. We have a negate here, so an instant counter spell. This one counters non-creature spell. Then we have 4 Heartless Axe. So this is very powerful. So this is an instant speed kill spell. We can destroy target creature with no counters on it, or we can remove up to 3 counters from target creature. So good interactions. with this card. Very, very powerful, as I mentioned. We have one of my favorite cards, Scavenging Ooze, also known as the Skoos. The Skoos here, we get to exile a target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on Skoos, and we get to gain 1 life. So very powerful, works great against self-mill decks, great against the other mid-range, which is the Rakdos mid-range as well. And then also very helpful against some of the just regular rogue mill decks as well, to kind of help you get stuff out of your own graveyard. Then we have Mazemind Tomb. So Mazemind Tomb is a very popular card, one of my favorites coming on M21. We can tap it, we get a scry 1, we also get a page counter on it, and then we can, for 2, we can also tap it, we get another page counter, but we also get to draw a card. And then once we hit 4 of those page counters, this guy goes bye-bye, it gets exiled, but we also gain 4 life. Now, here's a fun card that we haven't seen in a while, Thassa's Intervention. So Thassa's Intervention here works great. It is a instant speed spell that is either a counter for the slip, so either pay X and its controller has to pay twice X to get out of the slip, or we can look at the top X cards of our libraries, and then we can put up to 2 of them in our hand and the rest in the bottom of our library in any order. So very great to play at the end of the match or end of the turn to go look and dig for answers. Sometimes late game it works really well too, because you can go dig for answers, pulling something like a negate or Heartless Act if you leave 2 open, which can be very, very powerful as well. Then we have Neutralize. So we got some hard counters here. This is counter target spell, and then we also have Cycling. We have Soul Shatter. So this card's becoming more popular. I believe you guys saw it in the mono black control deck as well. Feel free to check that one out. Very, very cool deck. This one, each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalkers with the highest converted mana cost among creatures and planeswalkers they control. So very, very powerful, like I said. Very keen on staying in touch with this one, because it's going to help you out against those decks that are running those planeswalkers, because things like Heartless Act isn't going to hit at instant speed. This can still hit at instant speed, so help you get things like Ugin off the board. Next, we got Bala Ged Recovery. So this returns target card from our graveyard to our hand. Very, very powerful. Again, in sorcery speed, or it is a modal land. It can enter tapped for another forest as well if we need that. Then we have Landlore Visionary. So this is a ramp card. So we also get a cantrip with it. So we get to draw a card, and then we also get a ability to tap it for 1 and a green mana source. Very, very good in the 3 spot. Then we have Extinction Event. So far, we're not running a ton of creatures. This plays very well with our deck. We can choose odd or even and get all those creatures exiled off the board, so that includes their own, so we got to be careful about that. And then 0 is even, so keep that in mind, because that's going to hit the tokens for you. Then we got one of my favorite modal lands. We got Hagra Mauling. So this isn't one of the pain ones that I joke about where you drop it and you pay 3 and it stays in. But this one rather is a destroy target creature spell at instant speed. And we can get it for cheaper if they're not playing kind of your basic lands. So this is a good one to play against, like Big Red, potentially even the mono black one that we did Big Red the other day. We did mono black the day before, so you guys can check those out to get an idea what those are like. Or we can have it drop and have it be a tapped land. Then we have 1 Polochronos Unchained. I think that's perfect in this deck. It enters with 6 +1/+1 counters on it. It escapes with 12, so very, very big creature. If damage would be dealt to Polochronos here, this Hydra, it will remove a +1/+1 counter on it. If damage would be dealt to this Hydra, while it has a +1/+1 counter on it, prevent the damage and remove that many +1/+1 counters. It can fight another creature, and then again the escape cost there is 6 plus 6 other cards from our graveyard. Now we have another big body here that does a lot of things. Elder Gargaroth. This creature has Vigilance, Reach, and Trample. Very powerful whenever it attacks or blocks. So on either side is just nutty, man. We get a 3/3 green beast creature token. We gain 3 life, and then we also get a draw card. Next, we have Ashiok Nightmare Muse. So I love this card in this deck. we get to create a 2/3 blue and black nightmare creature token with whenever this creature attacks or blocks, each opponent exiles the top 2 cards of their library. For -3, we can return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, and then that player exiles a card from their hand. And then lastly, there for 7, we get to cast up to 3 spells from among face-up cards our opponents own from exile without paying for their mana cost. So very, very powerful card. Great to see that in this Sultai deck here. Then we have Shark Typhoon, again, a great option. So I think you guys are starting to see the trend here. It is an enchantment. Whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we get to create a XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is the spell's convert mana cost. So great at the late game. We can also cycle it for a flying Typhoon Shark. So whatever we pay for X will give us an XX blue shark creature token with flying. Then last but not least, to round out our Sultai Midrange deck here, we got Gruul Cursed Huntsman. So this guy is extremely powerful. We get to create 2/2 black and green wolf creature tokens for 0. When this creature dies, we put a loyalty counter on Gruul. You control each Gruul we control, and then destroy target. So each Gruul. So also, if you're playing the other one, you get that. For -3, we destroy target creature, and we also get to draw a card. And then lastly, at 6, we get an emblem with creatures we control, get +3/+3, and have trample. Great finishers. And then quickly, here are our lands. We got a couple modal lands here, as you can see, with the Pathways and Triome and Fabled Passage and 1 Castle Lockwin. Ooh, that is a lot, my friends. We got a lot going on. We did a lot of talking on the main board. Again, as I said, questions or comments, let me know down below. Next, let's go ahead and talk about the sideboard here. So first off, we got Chainweb Arachner. So this card is very important for us against the Dimmer Rogues deck. It can also work against Yorion or other flyers. A good one against mono white. So when they're pulling in that 4/3 Angel, they're just going to keep doing that. This is going to be your guy as well. So keep that in mind. This creature has reach. And then when it enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature with flying and opponent controls. And then 5 is its escape cost. 4 other cards and 4 other cards from a graveyard we need to exile. And then this creature comes in and escapes with 3 +1/+1 counters on. So pretty much taking out any flyers. Then we have Negate. So Negate, you're going to run against mirror matches. You're going to want to run this against Big Red, Mono Black control, and Big Red's Mono Red control. You're going to run this against non-creature decks. You're going to run this against Yorion decks, Doom decks, Esper Doom, Orzhov Doom, all sorts of stuff. Grixis control, you name it. This is going to be a good one to have in your back pocket. Next, we got Agonizing Remorse. So Agonizing Remorse here, target opponent reveals their hand. We choose a non-land card from it, or from the graveyard, exile that card, we lose 1 life. This is going to be good against the Rakdos midrange. This will get things like Crocs out of the graveyard. Anyone that's running even similar mono red control, this might be a good one for you to run to get Ox out, or potentially getting out those pesky Phoenixes as well. Lots of places that you could play this. Lurrus decks, this could be a good one for you too, just to get stuff out of the graveyard, those kinds of things. Next, we have Eliminate. So this is an instant speed destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 3 or less. I would play this against any aggro deck, hands down. That could be mono red, that could be the Boros Knights deck that we've done, that could be the Boros Warriors deck. It could also be mono green. It's great against the Rogues decks. Lots of spots for this one that you'll be able to leverage and play. Then we have Elspeth's Nightmare. So this card is very powerful. I like this one because we get 3 things here since it's a saga. We destroy target creature opponent controls with power 2 or less. Target opponent reveals their hand. We choose non-creature, non-land card from it. That player's going to discard it. And then exile target opponent's graveyard. So definitely play this against things like Rogues. Definitely play it against anyone that's like Mono Blue Devotion that's leveraging their own graveyard, things like Rakdos midrange. Anytime that you get stuff out, things like Mono Red control, like we already discussed. Potentially even anyone utilizing, again, things like Recursion, things like Lurrus. Speaking of Lurrus, you could run this against the cycle decks as well. Then we got Cultivate. So this is an interesting one here. One, we have the ability to search for 2 lands, put 1 in our hand, one on the battlefield. It is a ramp, so similar style here. Even though it's a mid-range, it's got this ability to ramp. So where would I play this? I would play this in 2 spots. I would play this potentially against another mid-range deck, and then I would also play it against a late game deck, or something that takes a little bit more to build. And I would do that because then you're going to get access to the higher end of your curve faster, and that's going to be the ultimate goal for you, and one of the reasons why you would play this. So not necessarily early game, mid-range, and definitely late game is where I would think about this. Next, we got Shadow's Verdict. So I was very happy to see this one. Again, setting us up for protection against some of the aggro stuff, and also graveyard removal if we need. But what this card does is exile all creatures and planeswalkers with converted mana cost 3 or less from the battlefield, and all creature and planeswalker cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from graveyards. So this is a blowout rogues card. This is great against Lurrus decks. Will help you against cycle. Anything like mono red, mono green, Gruul aggro. I should have mentioned some of the Gruul aggro stuff up here as well. So things like Eliminate, Agonizing Remorse might work for you as well. Those are all good spots to play that. So good things coming out of this one. I really enjoy this card. Plays well again when we already have Extinction Event, or if you want to obviously have a little bit more safety net when it comes to some of the aggro. Now we also have Ugin the Spirit Dragon, so I'm very happy to see this one again. It's Sultai Ugin deck, but again, this plays well with the Cultivate. You're going to want to play this against late game stuff. The only time I would maybe consider it against aggro is if you got a lot of other good things and you just need the additional board wiper, but you got a lot of stuff here already to help cover the board, so I would probably not play that there. Mid-range will probably be debatable as well, but definitely against things like mono black control, mono red control, mono blue control. All those things are good. Grixis, any of the Yorion decks are going to want to play this one as well. Last but not least, as you guys saw, I really like this one in the mono black deck, control deck, so I'm glad to see it here. Here we get a strap, so it's good in the early game. It's good for taking out some mid-range creatures as well, and then exile up to twice X cards from graveyards. So the one that I forgot to mention here too that's very powerful and why to play this one in Elspeth's Nightmare, also that I forgot to mention, is against things like Esper, because of Dance of the Mance. So whether it's a Yorion or non-Yorion deck, if it's a Doom deck for sure, this is really going to help you kind of not allow them to cast that money card for them, and give you some advantage there as well. Any decks that are leveraging, like I mentioned before, graveyard, and again, exile up to twice X target cards from graveyards, so you get to choose which ones you would like to exile. All right, Planeswalkers, enough said there. Let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to sideboard, because that's pretty important. So first off, let's talk about it again as I usually do, with aggro, mid-range, and then late game. So against aggro, and we kind of covered the rogues deck already, so I'm going to leave that one off. But I would play Eliminate. I would actually probably play Elspeth's Nightmare because it's going to destroy target creature power 2 or less. And then I would also play Shadow's Verdict and maybe Erebos' Intervention. So that's 3. That gives us 6. So 6 cards. And where would I look to optimize in this particular one? So a couple things. Neutralize isn't necessarily going to help us. It's going to be a little bit slow. I would consider dropping that, and I would consider dropping Thassa's Intervention as well. So that's 4. I like the body here still. I like the Heartless Act. I would probably drop a Negate, so that's 5. And then additionally here, some decent spots. So let's go ahead and check out the lands. We got 20 lands. We got 2 here. We got 2 there's 4. We got the Hagra 7. So I'd leave those because you're probably going to want to stay at those lands. It's a little tough for best of 1, best of 3. You're definitely going to want to stick there. And then the other thing that I would consider as a potential one to remove, I still like some of the high-end stuff here. but you could always drop 1 or 2 out of that space as well if you wanted. Maze Mind you're going to keep because you want to keep the smooth to get answers. I would also potentially keep Landlore Visionary just for the ramp into some of these other things that can make or break also some of those aggro games. So I think we should be good there. That's some good ones for us. Next, when we look at mid-range, again, generally these are going to have some sort of graveyard recursion. Additionally, we're going to not be as creature focused per se, but depending on what we have, we're either going to go with potentially a negate if they are more spell focused. If they are more creature focused, then we got to think a little bit differently. Agonizing Remorse for sure. Elspeth's Nightmare I would for sure. This one's tricky. I would probably go Erebos' Intervention, so that's 4. And then, like I said, that opens us up for an Ugin if you want, and if you want to play the Cultivate game. So I'll go 4 to 8 cards here in terms of how I would look at it. Again, if they're more control-based, not creature-based, I drop my Extinction Event. I'd probably keep my Neutralizes, so that's 3 off. Soul Shatter you're going to want to keep in case they're running Ugin, or to get Crocs off the board if you need something in terms of an answer. Skoos we're going to want to keep. Thassa's Intervention might be worth keeping. Heartless Act would be one that I would maybe consider. And I would do this again if they're not playing a ton of creatures. So that's a good 4 of for you. You could also potentially, if you are going to go down some of the ramp path, so 4/7, you could always drop 1 or 2 Landlords. If you wanted to swap in a Cultivate for that, that's probably going to be just fine. Again, I'm trying not to touch my high-end stuff too much because a 4 out of 60 gives us a pretty low odd of hitting one of those, and so we do need at least 1 or 2 of those to close out the game for us. Next, we got late game decks, or more so generally control potentially. So these are going to be things like the Yorion Doom flavor decks that we're talking about, just Yorion decks in general. Also any of the mono blank control decks as well. So if that's the case, I would probably go with a negate. I might go Agonizing Remorse. I would still consider Elspeth if they're an Esper deck. I would consider a Cultivate, and then again an Ugin, Spirit Dragon, and then maybe Erebos. So let's go with that 4 to 8 again. Depending on what they're playing, if they're not creature heavy, particularly the Yorion decks, the Doom ones, I would drop the Heartless Axe. I would keep this because that still hits a Planeswalker, so keep that in mind. I would keep these. I like those answers. I like those answers. I like these answers. You could consider again removing Extinction Events. That's going to give you 7 cards. And then if we wanted to get at 1 or 2 more, you could drop maybe one Hogger Mauling if you wanted. That's not a bad choice. Or you could even drop a Landlord Visionary as well. So Planeswalkers, that is that. We talked about the main board, we talked about the sideboard, we talked about how to sideboard. We're going to go play some competitive Magic here. We're going to do best of 1, best of 3. Again, deck list is available for you down below in the description, link down below. And then also, you guys, I added, like I said, that Discord server, so feel free to join up there as well. And with that said, let's get started here. I'm super excited to play this one, so let's get moving. All right, standard ranked. We got a mono red control deck that we just covered, so you guys can check that one out. Sultai Midrange it is with our top deck for today. All right, my friends, we are off. I am super excited to be playing this, as I've mentioned. Quickly, as always, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch as well to stay up to date on content like this. Apologies, I was trying to do 2 things, talk and think at the same time, which can be a problem for me. So we have a Yorion deck. I don't particularly like these in my Yorion deck because it's probably going to be a control. I'm going to keep it though, because I do have the Shark Typhoon cycles if we need to, and I got access to 3 colors here right away. And I could be wrong, it might not be a Doom deck. It could very well still be the Selesnya version, which was definitely a top deck for a while. And it is going to be a Doom deck. Probably could slow roll Ooze there, but we'll try it. Oh, see? So we're gonna look first. We'll keep that one. Well, it's not going to matter. We could play the 2, but we're going to let that hit because I'm going to play this and get my Scoos back. Dump Harvest. Blood Chief's Thirst. So now we're at 4. Ooh, now we're wishing we had that.
Delightfully friendly.
We're gonna let him hit. We're gonna make our Shark Typhoon. Ah, it's a creature killer. So now we can get Yorion if we need to. We also have Heartless Act, so we can do a few things. So what they're going to do is they're going to play their Yorion here. And then they'll push back.
Welcome to my domain, Planeswalker.
So we'll get Yorion out. And we'll get other Yorion out. We have 1. And none there. So we're not sitting in the best spot right now. we got 8. It's gonna hurt. Oh, Dance with the Mance. So that's where we would bring in some of those other things. We're done. Oh, good game. Good game. So, a little slow there. Didn't have the right counters, so a lot of the stuff that we would have brought in from the sideboard would have made it a much better matchup. Again, but that's best of one, and that's how it goes. So you would have a little bit more directness, I would say, in terms of that deck. Let's go ahead and play our second best of one deck here, or match. Still really, really liking this deck. It's a lot of fun. We got Aleph 0. Here we go. So we got some good control out of the gate. I will keep this. So we run into a slight problem here since we don't have green. Black is going to be more important for us to go grab. So we will do that. So turn 2 will have the counter into their turn 3. So there's a double black. We don't need that. Going to counter here. We'll get Edgewall off. So it's a Gruul aggro, or Gruul Adventures deck that we got right now. Oh, second. Should have went blue. There we go. Now they got enough for their cleave. And we'll go 1. So on. We need another green to get Gargaroth on there. So I could have played Extinction Event. This we're going to counter. And then we're going to take a peek. That's what we need. So as long as they do not top deck even, and we get the right thing here. As long as they don't top deck something that's going to have aggro, we're still okay. At least for the time being. There we go. We're gonna look because we need the life. Grab another one of these. Here with that. there's the top deck. So even if we block here, which is what's going to happen, we don't have a top deck answer. If we go with 3 life, we're still not going to have enough, unfortunately. So we made a good shot at best of 1. Looking forward to the best of 3. I think this deck's going to play much better. Just did not get the right land plays. We did do a good job of coming back, but just not quite, unfortunately. Alright, Planeswalkers, we're going to go into that best of 3 matchup here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this top Sultai Midrange deck. Now, as always, Planeswalkers, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch, stay up to date on content like this. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. We will play first. I like this because we got a lot of ramp and some control early game, which is important, so we'll keep 7. Now, if I can get a Planeswalker down for you today, I'll be pretty happy about that. So we got a Goose. So this could be Selesnya here. I'm actually going to take this sucker off right away. Yep, so it's a mono green food deck. So we need to play this one a little bit differently. So we're going to need to ramp fast against this one. I will have counters here. I'm actually going to go with this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll play this on 6, actually. So we'll do this. And we'll wait. Got the double black, let's add the blue. So if they have a Gem Razor, we're going to be hurting here, but we'll see. I didn't want to play the flyer. Wanted to use some of my spells. This is not instant, unfortunately, but will give us answers if we need. That's, I have to say, main border, I'm surprised. Definitely surprised to see that. It's not, not typical, I will say. So we'll try again. They have enough here to counter. So this is a good workaround against Wicked Wolf. Still gonna have to sack him. we'll definitely take this thing off the board. Now I left that up so I could pull Thassa's Intervention and look if I need. Pay 2. We'll hold that one up. They'll probably sack Tangle here. Nasty, nasty, nasty there. We're gonna look. And we did not get anything. So we are going to be in for some pain. So what's going to be in our favor here is we need to get the exile. They don't have a ton of stuff that we can hit at 3. So that's just going to have to be a consideration. We're going to play this just to get the flyer here. Even. If we get it, we'll get them wiped off the board. But we're gonna be in a world of hurt. So we'll go to the next game, and then we'll board in exactly what we need in this situation. Ugin's gonna be really good for us too. Elspeth's Nightmare's good, and Agonizing Remorse is good. So we'll grab these two. Not going to worry about eliminate. This one's good. Let's go that. This will help. These two will help, and so will those two. So we didn't get to Ashiok. We didn't get to Garruk. What do we want to keep here? This is okay. This is good. I'm going to get rid of that one. Heartless Act works. Negate's good. Jwari's good. This is fine. Extinction Event's good. Agra Mulling's okay. Let's get that out. I don't want to cut too much at the top end here, but I think I'm going to have to. Go with one of those. Stick with one of those. This is good to fight, but I'm going to drop that. We're not running against a mill. All again's good. We need the ramp. Three more. We could go real lean here. And drop Huntsman. Go one there. So we're gonna go ramp it. And then what else? Let's get rid of one bell again. Okay, there we go. So that's kind of a tough one. We'll see how it goes. We kept some of the exile. I think Ugin's gonna help us, but we'll find out. Huntsman wouldn't have been bad, but let's see what we can do here. I'll keep, even though we only have 2. Let's get a peek at their hand. Alright, let's get rid of this guy, huh? Or do we get rid of their next play? Because we do have exile. Let's get rid of that. These two are odd. He was even. That's why I did that. So we can do 2 things. We can play another blue, which might be the play. Here we go. That's going to give us a counter. I'm gonna counter here because maybe he'll play Kazandu on this one, and if we do that, oh, they didn't do it. I was hoping they would go that path because that would have then opened us up to get a few of their guys. So let's do this and take a peek. 2 Kazandus, graveyard. Let's leave that in there. We'll get that one out of the hand. So we definitely need to hit this. So it's going to be odd. Get these 2 off. Let's go thin. Grab a green and how about another black. We'll take the first look and then we'll start drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do that. Go. Let's draw first. Keep that so we can draw. I'm gonna hang on to Gobble Cad there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we played that, pulled an Ugin, we would have been at 8. We also have 3 for Soul Shatter here. We still have a strap here if we need to as well. That's a problem. Big problem. We don't have enough here right now either, which is too bad. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we got a big top deck match, and we got a lot we can do. So we'll hang on to it for now. There we go. And let's start cranking. And thin. There we go. Lots of good stuff we can do here. Oh, there we go.
My flames burn beyond perception.
What do we have here that we may want to pull back? Let's go grab this. So anything that hits the board, we're gonna pull off. I only had one in there too, which is why I didn't go grab our friend Scoos. Gotta be careful there because we can lose a lot of life.
Ghost fire, my greatest creation.
And they're gonna ramp, which is a big problem.
Not ignore my draconic talents.
Even on. On. So it's all permanent, so we gotta go 9 and get rid of that.
Return to the essence of the multiverse.
Oh.
My flames burn beyond perception.
Problematic. Problematic. Oh, man. game. What a game. We're gonna run out of time. I'm at 18.
Consider this a warning.
So this is where you want Garuk, or you want he's gonna get 2 triggers off this too, which is frankly quite annoying. Split it before it comes back. Actually, we're gonna keep that one. We'll just make it a big flyer. And hopefully they'll be close to game.
I will destroy if I must.
Because that still give us, yeah. We'll do that. Whew. $18.16. Woo! So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's make this guy a 6.
My flames burn beyond perception. So we'll hit the ape.
Heartless Act. Odd that they didn't hit the flyer. But it's because what they're trying to do is clear the board to get their guys through. So all we actually need to do here is a couple things. So wait till attack. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to go for lethal. They're not going for Ugin here. So we'll see. Oh, now they went for Ugin. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll make an 8. Ooh. Well, we can't actually, because what's going to happen is... Actually, we don't even need to do that either. We'll go no blocks. Because what they're going to do is, they still have 4 up, so they could drop the wolf. And then we'd be toast. So let's do that. Let him hit.
You act without wisdom.
So we need to think a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can now we can do it. 10. No, it took it. Alright, on to the next one. So we're going to want a little bit more variability there, I think. So we had plenty of answers there. That worked out. Elspeth's Nightmare was fine. We didn't hit the way we wanted to hit. That's one way, though, to get that off the board. Still like the ramp. I might drop 1 cultivate there. Let's grab in another huntsman. The direct kills are going to be helpful. And the bodies. Let's drop one of those. There we go. Alright, let's give that a shot. Oof, mixed it up. Huntsman's gonna help hopefully a little bit against more bodies there. We'll see. Troll has trample though, but we got a lot of stuff that can take that off the board. So we can keep this. So we got the Soul Shatters. There's that goose. There is that goose right off the bat, my friends. I need to think about how I want to play this. Play that one first. We don't have a green. We don't need the green yet. That's going to be painful. That will be painful, so we're going to slow here. I'm going to grab a green. Alright. Let's get our blue. Very aggressive. I do want to look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have to keep that. Three, four, five, six, seven. Let's get another draw. There we go. That did open them with bonders there, though. Is the only thing. But we can get Ugin on the board. We're not going to have to worry too much. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Evens. We'll see if they get greedy. Ooh, casting cost, huh? Yeah, that's a bummer. That's alright. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is.
Perfection is a journey, not a destination.
Alright, we are doing okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna go next on turn. We gotta check our time though. 10 minutes. That we can live with. And we got Ball again. Nothing in there that we need. We'll play this guy.
Consider this a warning.
So if we get through this one without getting damaged, there we go. Now we're in a good spot.
I will destroy if I must.
Anything in there we want to take out? Nope. I would consider playing Jawari Disruption. Maybe next turn even. So I did that so I can double Uga.
Do not ignore my draconic talent.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can do this. We can go grab our Soul Shatter. So we have lethal right now. But they'll probably bring back a bunch of life here, which is fine. So we'll get this guy off the board.
Ghost fire, my greatest creation.
Put that one in the cycle. Got the timer here. You're gonna time me out. I think we're okay. If I can't finish this in 9 minutes, it's gonna be a bad deal. Can't go bonders. They gotta use the life. I don't even think they got it. Boom! We did it. We did it. Oh, it's a good game.
Consider this a warning.
Boom! Oh, love it. The mid-range Sultai deck pulling through for us today in best of 3. Woo! Did not make it work in best of 1, but good matches. As always, it's kind of what happens when it's fast-paced anyway, but more tuned very, very nicely for best of 3 worked out for us today. So, Planeswalkers, let's go ahead and take a look at the deck list again. This was the 6+ wins, Platinum to Mythic. Worked out great in best of 3. Really, really smooth. Had a lot of fun with this. Good things to move around. Ugin made the game for us against that mono green food deck. Was able to get some of the options that we needed and turned around from starting off with a loss and brought it back to 2-1. Planeswalkers, again, here's what we got going on. If you have questions or comments, please let me know down below. Happy to help. Deck list is available for you down below, as well as links if you'd like. And then lastly, again, within the questions, comments, please feel free to join the Discord channel as well and hang out a bit. And Planeswalkers, as always, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, if you like the video, please like it. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch, stay up to date on content like this. All right, Planeswalkers, you stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Stay tuned because a lot more stuff coming your way. So love the standard deck. And take care. Mythras out. And we'll see you soon.